In light of like the pandemic, what can we expect from administration in terms of academic integrity processes? Because I understand a lot of our exams will be now remote, and integrity is also a topic of discussion that should be addressed. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I really appreciate that students are asking this question because um, it's tricky. It's the remote environment um, is not easy to to monitor what the activities are and to ensure that the work submitted is done by the student. We know that and we know it's a challenge. In some instances, for example, we piloted in the April exams software called ProctorU, which enables us to monitor students and their computers while they're writing an exam. And we received actually mixed results because of the did not work well and for two exams, and we had to run one of them over again. Not very convenient for students, very upsetting. In other cases, instructors are rethinking how they do the evaluation in the course and whether there are different ways to do evaluation than the standard highly weighted final exam. Probably less so in your discipline, but very high percentage of the final exam in the sciences is very, very common. And so they're rethinking how they do that. But I'll be honest with you that I wouldn't say that this issue has been entirely resolved. And I will also want to point out that this was not an issue. This was an issue prior to COVID. We are always looking at ways in which to improve this. Every time we do an innovation, the students figure out a new way to get around us. So we're always on our toes with that. Some of that is being careful to not repeat questions because exams have a way of taking on their own life and moving from student to student to student. So making sure that we're doing original evaluation is critically important. We do that with assignments. So there's a number of things that we do to try to sort of cheat-proof of courses. And I know that this is critically important, especially for students that are. It's critically important for all students. But if you're a student that has never been tempted to do that, you want to make sure that your mark is reflective not only of your performance, but that it isn't overshadowed by faulty performance by others. So I totally understand the concerns here, and it is something that we are working on and continue to work on. As we eventually move back into in-person, we may look at looking at how we can do in-person exams first. We do have areas on campus like the event center, which at present could sit 500 students for an exam, and is probably could do 200 under the current social distancing rules. So this is something that probably we'll look at in the winter as a possibility, also depending on what the public health rules are. And
Thank you
also,
so much.
I just want to also make the point that we're making a guarantee for students that start the year remotely that they can finish the year remotely. So any experiment we do along those lines has to be done in a way that ensures that those that cannot be with us are not unfairly treated.